Hi, welcome back to English 111 Online. Um, I trust that all of you have turned in your annotated bibliographies. I will be looking at those and putting in the final grades for those. Those of you who sent me your rough drafts so that I can make comments on them should have, nearly perfect documents. If you didn't send me the rough draft and ended up getting a zero for that, um, you still need to send in your final for a grade. I'll be contacting you, those of you who might have missed that deadline. Of course, you remember anytime you miss a deadline, you just email the document to me and I'll upload it for you. Okay, so we've got that out of the way, and now we're just focusing for the rest of April on Core Project 4, the essay, the research essay. So last week I talked to you about the introduction and the background paragraphs for this essay. And but let's take a look at it again. Let's review a little bit. I'm going to go to the document for Core Project 4, and I'm bringing that down each week on our Moodle tab. So what we're looking for is 5 to 6 sources for this paper. Now, every time you go to, it could be the same website, but a different page on the website that gives you different information, like a news story on one web page, and then there's just general information that you're using on another web page. Those are separate sources, so this doesn't have to be, you don't have to have extensive research, but what you're looking for is information to put into your paper that will give your reader that's going to be reading about your topic all of the information they need to understand it. And so that's what this document tells you what you need. So you've already chosen your global goal, and I suggested when you pull up that global goals website, see, I've already pulled it up here, yeah, and I've been using goal 5, gender equality, as my sample. But whichever one you pulled up, I suggested that to find your amazing fact, to open your introduction paragraph, your attention getter, to use facts and figures right here on that page. However, you don't have to. You can find your own, something to grab the reader's attention and get them interested in the topic that you're going to write about. And then I told you on this tab, the targets, to use language from those to have your 3 solutions, and those 3 solutions will be mentioned in your thesis statement. So I also brought down the sample outline for Core Project 1 that has a sample of the introduction paragraph. It shows you works cited entries and things like that. Let me see if I can find my thing over here on the side to move my page up and down, and I just can't see it over there. There it is. It's very light and hard to see. Oops, not that. Y'all bear with me. I'm trying to do it here. Okay, I can always, I'm opening the notes somehow by doing that. Okay. Well, I have a touch screen, so I'm just going to scroll down this way, and sorry, I'm jiggling the camera while I'm scrolling down with my fingers. But on the sample, as you can see, I start with an attention getter here. According to the United Nations Sustainable Global Goals webpage, excuse me, globally, 750 million women and girls were married before the age of 18. At least 200 million women and girls in 30 countries have undergone FGM. And then in brackets, remember anything that you add to quoted material has to be put in brackets. So the actual target said the actual web page said FGM, but I wanted to explain to my reader what FGM was, so I put it in brackets, female genital mutilation. And then noticed at the end, even though I mentioned the web page that it came from, it's not the part that's hanging out on the Works Cited page. So what's hanging out on the Works Cited page is the title. And so here is my in-text citation. So goal 5, achieve gender equality. That's my title. And notice too that on my Works Cited page, there it is listed as my second source here, goal 5, achieve gender equality. So whatever you put in the parentheses or in the sentence needs to match this, whatever is hanging out here. So it's going to be the title in most cases. You may have an author's name, and in that case you mention the author's name to make it match. But this needs to match whatever you have in your sentence. So even though I mentioned the website, I was not able to use the, I'm looking for my little thing over there on the side. Good grief, I saw it once, but anyway. So whenever I mentioned the website, see, a reader would have to read all the way in to hear United Nations Sustainable Goals in order to get that information. And that's not what you want to do. You want to make it easy. They're looking for something sticking out here on your hanging indent. Spotlight, gender equality, and whatever else is. Hey, there's my little thing again. I don't know why that doesn't show up all the time, but anyway. So there's my attention getter, and then I used a quote, so I mentioned in-text citation for it, and then I narrowed it down, the next part was I explained what the global goals are, because your reader won't know, and when I used information, I put it in quotation marks. So because of such atrocities, in September of 2015, the United Nations created 17 sustainable global goals, which are intended to encourage all countries, rich and poor, to, and these are words I use directly, promote prosperity while protecting the planet. I liked that alliteration, and I like the wording there, so I used it. And anytime you use words directly from the website or from the article that you're reading, you put it in quotation marks. And every time you have quotation marks, you're going to have an in-text citation. And so the Sustainable Development Agenda is my in-text citation. And then on the Works Cited page, there it is, the Sustainable Development Agenda. So if you want to go to that page, the Sustainable Development Agenda page, all you have to do is go here and copy my, you got to copy it correctly, copy that and paste it into your browser, and it'll bring that page up, and then you yourself can read about the Sustainable Development Goals, what the background is on them, and all of that, so that you can explain to your reader what these 17 goals are all about. And then after I got to the sustainable goals, and that little thing just doesn't want to pop up. Can't see it. Y'all excuse me. All right, we got to do the fingers on the screen thing again to get back to it. But you can see that what I put in my when I narrowed it, when I put the information in there, there it is. It's popped up again. I don't know why it just doesn't show all the time. Crazy. Anyway, so I explained what they are, and then I narrowed it down to the one goal that I was writing about, which was goal 5. You would narrow it down here to the goal you're writing about, and tell us a little bit about that. What that goal is that you're using, whether it's life on land or underwater or hunger or health for all, whatever it is, you're going to explain it. And then you're going to put your thesis statement. And my thesis statement is kind of long, but we need that in here so that your reader will know what the focus of your essay is. So, in order to help eliminate these problems faced by girls worldwide, there are 3 sustainable solutions that must be implemented. Remember our should or our must words for strong language, for persuasion, and then a colon, and then I listed them, and I used the wording from the target goals. And of course, because I did that, I used where I got that information from that I put the quotation here, or the in-text citation here for the what did I just do? I just did something terrible. Let me undo that. All right, so here. So here's my in-text citation for that. That takes me back to Spotlight on Sustainable Goals. And then we go back to Spotlight on Sustainable Goals here. Now notice that there it is right there. So notice on my works cited page, everything here is listed, not in the order in which I use it in the paper, and it's not numbered. It's just put on here in alphabetical order. So this thing's driving me crazy. Let's see if I can stretch that over a little bit. That'll help me find that thing. All right, so on the works cited page, everything is in alphabetical order. And so what we have then is GE comes before GO. So I got gender equality, goal 5, then I have S, Spotlight, and then I have T, the Sustainable Development Agenda, and then I have U, UN, a range of marriage, and then I have W, women health issues. And so note that they're all hanging in dent so that they're easily readable one at a time. Your reader can easily go there and see how they're hanging out, sticking out. And then they are in alphabetical order. Okay, so what I had asked you, what I talked about last time, and what we're still talking about here, is the introduction paragraph, which will end with that thesis statement that tells what your 3 solutions are. And then you'll have your next paragraph will be your background paragraph. Now, on this sample that I've given you, I've put these headings on here. Don't put the headings. We're not going to use these headings. It's just to let you know what comes next, because this is kind of like an outline sample here. And then I just started a background paragraph here. But remember, you need to bring in evidence to back up your background paragraph. So when you start showing the severity of the problem, the magnitude or the size of the problem, you need facts to support that and bring those in. So remember, evidence needs to come in. And so that's why it says here, evidence, bring in evidence to complete this. And then after we finish those 2 things and you turn it in on the link on the Moodle course page this week, here is the link down here under graded assignments. That's for your introduction. I went ahead and made next week available too for those of you who want to look ahead for next week. Keep my computer to cooperate. So next week, we'll be working on body paragraphs. And then you'll continue to work on, I want to take a look at one of your body paragraphs. So the assignment to turn in for next week is going to be the same document. You keep sending me the same document. Keep all of your information together in one document. But you've got your introduction and background paragraph this week. Next week, you'll add a body paragraph. So the information is on there to do that. Now, if you keep up with this, then by next week, by the end of next week, you should have all your body paragraphs done, and you should be looking for the opposition and the refutation, which I'll talk about in more detail next week. But you have all the things here that can help you with your introduction, your background paragraph, and then moving beyond that to your solutions. Remember, we want the focus to be on the solutions because that's what's in our thesis statement or claim. That's what we're saying is very important, that we must do these things in order to help meet this goal. And so you don't want your body paragraphs to be full of information about the problem. You can have a couple of sentences leading into the solution in the body paragraphs, but mostly you want it to be about the solution, not the problem. Remember, as you write this, I put this little label on this week's Moodle page. This is an argument persuasive essay. It's research-based, and it is to be written in academic, professional style or tone. So remember what we do when we keep it in academic tone. We do not use contractions. We do not use first person or second person. So no I, me, my, mine, myself, we, us, our, ours, ourselves, or no you, your, yours, yourself. You want to leave all of that out, and you're going to write it in third person. People, countries, programs, residents, whatever it is that you're going to use, but you're going to make it third person. And I suggest using the plural form like people, because then you can use they and them, and you don't have to worry about a person, his or her, and all that stuff. Also, you do not want to do anything in your paper that announces what you're doing. I plan to discuss, I will talk about in this paper will, this essay is about, or anything like that. Leave those things out. You're simply giving the information. You've got the gospel, and you're giving the gospel. You don't have to address the writing assignment at all, and I don't want you to. And also, because this is persuasive, do not anywhere put in I feel, I believe, in my opinion, I think, it seems to me, any of that kind of language, because what that does is it weakens your language, and it minimizes the information that you're giving. Your information in a persuasive paper should be forceful and straightforward, and use strong language and state it as if it is a fact, because it is a fact, and this is what you're trying to convince people of. So if you put in I believe or I feel or in my opinion, it weakens your language, and it makes for a very unsuccessful persuasive paper. So keep all of that in mind as you write. Now, you may want to just write it the way you want to write it to get something down on paper, but then you need to go back and look at what you've written, and if you see any of contractions or any reference to I or we, not we have to do this, you need to do that, none of that we or you in there, then and take it out. So you can revise after you've written your introduction and your background, and the same for your body paragraphs. If you want to go ahead and look towards next week for the body paragraphs, I've given a little template here of what the body paragraph should look like, just like when we did our rhetorical analysis and you put in one rhetorical strategy the author used is so and so. You're going to do the same thing here. One solution that must be implemented to help with. You need to tell them what the problem is to help with worldwide hunger is, whatever the solution is. And then add examples from your research that you found, places in the world where this is actually working. That's what you're looking for your body paragraphs. Where are they doing things that are helping to improve world hunger? What places in the world? Please do not make this locally focused. I know there are things that we do right here in our country to help local hunger, and I know there are things that we do right here in our country even to help people around the world. But we want to look in other places. This is a global focused course, and so you want to keep this paper globally focused and look for information from things that are happening. What's going on in England for this? What's going on in Nigeria for this? What's going on in China? What's going on in North Korea? So whatever you can find, that's what your body paragraphs will be about. And then of course you want to explain how those programs work or how those situations work. And then and don't forget to ICE. Remember, we want to introduce with a signal phrase, according to an article, according to the article, according to the website. And then you want to give the information that you got from the article, the author of the website, if it's directly quoted from something that you've read, put it in quotation marks. If it's just summarized or paraphrased, you can put it in. You don't have to put it in quotation marks, but you still need to cite it. So you'll need an in-text citation. And then after you've given the information that you got from that you've read, then your own words come into play here when you explain it. Expound on how this information relates to the solution, to the ultimate goal. It's going to be your words explaining all of this. I do have the information here about refutation and then a link for next week to put in your document that already has your introduction, your background paragraph, and at least one body paragraph. And then of course you need to go on and finish your other 2 body paragraphs after that. So this week, under graded assignment, we're putting in the document in correct MLA format with the works cited page and everything that has your sources that you've used in the introduction and background paragraph. And then you can add other sources to your works cited as you go through, and if you use other sources. And so all we're thinking of, hopefully you can use the 4 sources you found for your annotated bibliography, but you don't have to use those. If you found better sources, you can, except for that original Global Goals page that I gave you. I expect to see that in your works cited, and I expect to see information from that in your essay. So that's what we're doing this week. Don't forget, we're going to be meeting, or I'll be available to meet through a Google Meet on Monday at 6 o'clock, the normal time that I would have my Monday night class, and on Tuesday morning not Tuesday, but Thursday morning at 8:30, and then Thursday morning at 10. And what I'll do is I'll go to the Google Meet at those times, and if somebody shows up, then I'll let you ask questions. We'll try to go over the information, but this video that you're listening to right now will have the bulk of the information. I think the Google Meets are mainly to ask questions and get clarification on things that you may not understand. So if I'll wait about 10 minutes at each of those times at 6 tonight, at 8:30 on Thursday and at 10 on Thursday. And if nobody shows up, then I'm just going to go leave the meeting. But if you ever want to meet with me like that, face to face, I've done it for students before, and it's no problem as long as it's a convenient time for both of us. And then we'll click this same link. So the link is up here, just to remind you, at the top of the Moodle page, right up here, same one that we clicked before, join the Hangouts meet. And we'll just keep that up there so that you can use that. So if there's anything I can help you with or you need from me, email me, and I'm trying to stay on top of that and answer you as quickly as I can, unless you email me at night, and then I may have already gone to bed and I don't see it till the next day. But I'm trying to help you as much as I can without having to be by my computer 24/7. So I do miss y'all, and I do hope that that what I'm doing for you is helpful to you. If you need anything in addition, I did send out a message to all the classes about the English Studio is still helping. They have tutors that will help you. And if you've ever used the English Studio, you know how valuable those tutors are. So take advantage of that. You'll have to look at my email that I sent everybody about how to access the English Studio and how to, they're going to do it. You'll email them and then they'll get back in touch with you and set up a shared document that you can work together on. So I will talk to you next week if I don't talk to you before at one of our Google meeting times. Thanks. Bye.